Please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Good afternoon, or in some cases, good morning. This is the Central Florida Computer Society, the Windows Special Interest Group, or WinSIG, for Sunday, May 8th, 2022. I'm Huey Poplock. In case you haven't noticed, I've changed this logo a little bit by adding Windows 11. Finally got around to it. And so now it includes down here at the bottom, Windows from Windows 1, various logos along the way. And with that, we'll close this and I'll stop the share and full screen this. And I want to say thank you for joining. We have a smaller than normal Mother's Day crowd. And we're glad you're here. And if you're not here, you can, and you're listening to me, that means you're watching it on, let's see, I gotta close this. You're watching it on the recording, and I'm glad you're doing that as well. This is the special interest group, a Windows special interest group that we do every month. I've been doing it for 15, 20 years now. And probably before that, there was a break somewhere in the middle that Mike Ungerman and somebody else, I think, for a while took it over. And then I took it back, as I say, 15, 20 years ago. I moved from the Orlando area to the west coast of Florida, but continue to do it using Zoom. I'm glad everyone is here. And as I said, happy Mother's Day, or if I didn't say it on the recording, I'll say it to you. Okay, and let's go ahead and get started. So I will share my screen and open up my browser. We'll full screen that. And then where we're going to go is see Huey.net. And of course, we use cookies, so I have to accept. And I'm going to go to the WinSIG. And you will see all of the meetings in the past, or not all of them, but some since I've redid the website. And what you'll see is there's a limit to how many I can put on a page using the software I'm using to create the website. So what I've done is that when you go to the bottom of the page, and you're going to see there's an archive. You can see last year's July to December and last year's January to June. And those are the only ones I do have online anymore, but you can go to YouTube and all the recordings that I've placed up on YouTube are there. So these are the items I have planned for today. It's not as long a list, but a lot of times we don't get to everything anyway. And I've got a few other things that I do want to share with you. First of all, let's look at the first item, is how to manage Windows 10 Start menu. If you'll notice, this is a link. So when I click on it, it automatically takes you to the article that I'm going to be talking about. This one happens to be at davescomputertips.com. We thank him and all of the other people who post original information that I'm able to share with you for this. What we're going to do, though, is I'm going to go to this, which makes things a little bit bigger, and we can make this even larger. And how to manage the Windows 10 Start menu. There's some personalization of the Windows 10 Start menu built into Windows 10. Now, this is Windows 10 I'm talking about, not Windows 11. If you go to Settings, Personalization, and Start, you will see changes can be made. However, we're not going to cover those changes in this article. We will cover less known, well-known, behind the curtain changes. So if you want to change the Start menu, it tells you how to do it. And it gives you step-by-step. And then what is the Start menu? Start menu is just a normal, although more protected, hierarchical file structure available through File Explorer. It consists of folders and links or shortcuts. The links can be to any program, document, internet website, or folder on your PC. Essentially anything you can click on, i.e. a link, that takes you to something else will work in the Start menu. An example of that is Google Drive. If you have installed Google Drive, it adds a link to their drive in your Start menu, which opens up File Explorer, where then you click on their link. There are some idiosyncrasies to the Start menu that make it different from other folders and links. Number one, if you create an empty folder in the Start menu, it will not show in the menu until you create a subfolder or create a link within the folder. And two, for any folder you create in File Explorer, you can change the icon displayed for that folder. However, the Start menu folder icons cannot be changed. Even if you change the icon on the shortcut you create and then move that shortcut to the Start menu, that icon will not be shown. The only icon Start menu folders show is the Windows 10 default folder icon. And it tells you where the Start menu is and where the folder is that contains it, and then how to change it. And I'm not going to go through each one of these, but if it's something that you want to do or want to play with, here's an article that tells you how to do it. And we'll close that up, come back here. 5 ways you could be unknowingly slowing down your Windows 10 PC. Now, some of these articles may say Windows 10, some of them may say Windows 11, and some of the items in there, or maybe all of the items in there in each of these articles, may be applicable to Windows 11. And same thing when we look at Windows 11 things, some of the things may be applicable to Windows 10. I know one of you asked if I could differentiate which ones are 10 and 11. And I really can't do that because right now I don't have a 10 machine to check and test out. So I can't show you anything with Windows 10, but I can look at it with Windows 11 and see if it's the same or close to it. So I apologize for that, but some of the articles already have in the title that it's for Windows 10 or Windows 11. But again, I want to emphasize that it could also work with Windows 11 or something close to it. So if you're on Windows 11, you might want to take a look anyway. This article is from Make Use Of, and we'll do the same thing with it. Make it bigger. Well, I thought I was. There we go. Does your Windows device constantly lag, freeze, and crash unpredictably? Of course, Bob from the Sun City Center group is sent me some batch files that he's put together to clean it up to make it so you don't have that problem. But in the meantime, here are some suggestions that this article has. Does it take forever to boot up and your battery drains out in a few hours? If so, your computer is secretly wasting resources on processes that aren't very useful. Therefore, finding such RAM eaters and disabling them may help reduce resource consumption, resulting in better computer performance. In this article, they will uncover different ways in which you can unknowingly burden your computer and show how to relieve some of its strain. Not closing background apps and processes. Applications and processes that continue to run in the background, even when you close them, aren't actively using, and you're not actively using them, are called background apps. They're always in action and they occupy a lot of resources. Furthermore, you cannot, I have to move this, my camera is right in the center of the screen and I can't read the word, but anyway, can't change their impact by not being aware of how many of these processes are running in the background. Hence, stopping them should be your priority so you can allocate resources or other useful processes. So if you right-click on the Windows Start button and go to Settings, navigate to Privacy, and go to Background Apps and under App Permissions to the left sidebar. Let's see if that's the same in Windows 11. So we're going to go to Start, go to Settings, and let's see what it says. Navigate to Privacy and Security. So it's a little bit different in 11. And then go to Background Apps and App Permissions. So let's see. Background Apps. And I'm not seeing that, so it may not be in 11. Or did I miss it? Let's go back up here. I don't see it.
It was all the way at the bottom on mine, or very close to the bottom. I don't see it in yours, though.
Maybe I got to go into apps first. No, I don't see that either.
Yes, go into apps and then background apps.
Apps itself.
Oh, maybe no, that's privacy and security is there.
Okay, let's go back.
General app permissions. But it doesn't have a.
No, it doesn't look like it's in Windows 11 the same way, or I don't know how to find it.
Or you have to do them individually.
Yep. Screenshot and apps. Let's. No. Okay, so we'll go back to the article. Here's what it looks like in Windows 10. Background apps. You know what we can do is let's try this. Let's go to Settings. And find a setting, say background apps. That's what the search is for, isn't it? No, so maybe they don't have that setting anymore. I think you have to do it through Task Manager. But anyway, so in Windows 10, if you have I can't move my mouse over there when I do it, changes the color of the of it. But the background apps, let apps run in the background. If you have that turned on, which it should be, then you can choose which ones will run in the background. You may want to shut some of those off. Okay, to do that, here's how you do it. So the best way to do it is, again, and I was right, go into Task Manager and then navigate to the Processes tab and then click on the View. So let's just, for the heck of it, go into Task Manager and see what we see in 11. App history, performance. So they've changed that as well. Processes, performance. Here's your startup. These are all the things that run when you start up your computer. You might want to disable some of those. Sometimes you don't need them to start when you start your computer. And when you do, it's running in the background. Details, services. So I'm not sure where you would see what's running in the background.
The top three, file options view.
Yeah.
Menu, if you click on view.
Just refresh now, update speed.
Right, file options view. Next one over to the right.
Options.
View.
Yes. There's view. It's a refresh now.
And then group by type is what they suggest.
I can't, it's that and I can't change it.
Gotcha.
That's how it's set up. Okay. All right. So coming back to the article, view group by type, and it's already done on that. And then follow the steps above and then you can end the task. Under startup, yeah, there you go. It tells you how to do it in startup. And it is the same in Windows 11. You can disable them. You can keep keeping third-party services turned on. Windows users cannot escape trying out new third-party apps and tools every once in a while. As soon as they are installed and run for the first time, most of those tools start certain third-party services that continue to run even when the programs are closed. This could be a browser service that checks for updates or a maintenance service that repairs specific programs periodically. You may never be aware that these services are in place. Due to their fair share of the load on your computer, it becomes imperative to disable these services. Following these steps, okay? So you go into system configuration, MS config, and click OK, and then go to the services tab, and then hide all Microsoft services, because those are things that are needed, and then check services, see if you want any of them. So let's do that. So we're going to go to MS config, and we can do that by going here. Well, it's Windows R. I believe. And MS config. And there we are. Then we're going to go to startup. And now in Windows 11, they've changed it. So you have to go to Task Manager. So it takes you to Task Manager. And so you're here. So now you can, let's see, options. I'm looking to see how you can change it to not showing the Microsoft items. I guess you can't now, but you can take any of these. Okay, I got Garmin Express, and I don't use it. The only time I ever use that, it's a program to help me update my Garmin GPS. I really don't need that to start. So I can right mouse click and I can disable that. So that won't automatically start up until the next time I install the software. But some of these I do want, but you can see which ones are enabled to start when you start your computer. If you aren't sure what it is, leave it alone. Running a third-party antivirus program parallel with Microsoft's Defender firewall. Microsoft Defender is a Windows operating system built-in software application that prevents threats and viruses from entering your system. Since the Microsoft Defender firewall already provides good protection for your system, running an antivirus program alongside it is not advisable. This would mean running two processes to accomplish the same task. Many antivirus programs run continuously and require a lot of processing to keep them scanning. Unless you have disabled the Microsoft Defender firewall and are using only one antivirus for that threat protection, that's another unnecessary load on your computer that you should remove. Disabling the third-party antivirus software will significantly reduce resource consumption, allowing other Windows processes to run smoothly. Even if you have to use them at all costs to ensure your security, use them periodically, such as when you download files from unreliable sources or run a daily scan. And then over customizing Windows graphics and enabling sound enhancements, a lot of that can eat up resources and slow your computer down as well. So leaving that article, I'm going to stop share and see if there's any discussion on any of this. No comments? Okay.
Huey,
Yeah.
just
Go
real
ahead,
quick,
John.
is the tool you're using for making the browser page readable, is that called printerfriendly.com? Is that
Yes.
that? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And
Print friendly.
those are some really, really good tips in that article. I can't wait to share these with the computer club. These are really
Yeah.
good.
And again, I can't duplicate Windows 10, I can almost do it with Windows 11. There are some differences between the two, but a lot of times they overlap. They're just in different places. So a lot of things, when I talk about something with Windows 11, it is applicable to Windows 10 and vice versa.
Very much so. Thank you.
Any other comments, questions dealing with this, or something that just popped into your mind when we're covering it? Okay. And we'll share again. Close this. How do you use safe mode to diagnose problems on your Windows PC? If you remember safe mode, at one time, we would go in and use safe mode by clicking, I forgot which key it was, and it may have varied from computer to computer. I think it was F4, I don't even remember which one it was, but as it was booting, you kept hitting the same key and it would come up with a menu and you could choose safe mode, and that doesn't work anymore. So let's, we got this at 100, we want 130, see if we can make this bigger. You're having trouble surfing the internet, could be a simple issue with your web browser. Tap or click here. By the way, there's a little noise going on in the background. It's my phone. And I'm not sure, it's supposed to be filtered out. Hopefully it's being filtered out and you don't hear it. So if you hear something in the background, I apologize.
No, we can't hear you. We hear you, but not anything else.
Okay, and that's because I'm using a program called CRISP, KRISP.
I love it. CRISP
Yes.
is awesome.
If you use your microphone a lot and you're doing a lot of talking online, ask me when we go back to the any questions, and I'll talk about it then. Okay, so are you having trouble surfing the internet? It could be a simple issue with your web browser. And the problem could be deeper, though. There may be something wrong with your Windows PC. If you're experiencing poor performance or crashing apps, pay attention. There's a real problem behind every surface level symptom. Thankfully, Microsoft has a tool that you can find the problem quickly. And here's how to use the safe mode to troubleshoot your PC. So what is safe mode? It's a feature that utilizes only the bare necessities. Windows, this is a related thing, so I'll just go on to the next. Safe mode starts Windows in a raw state using a restricted set of files and drivers. If a problem doesn't happen in safe mode, default settings and basic device drivers aren't causing the issue. Observing Windows in safe mode allows you to narrow down the source of an issue and can help you troubleshoot problems on your PC. There are two versions of safe mode and safe mode with networking. Safe mode with networking adds the network drivers and services you'll need to be online and connect with other computers on your network. Before we read farther, one of the reasons you might want to use safe mode is you're having a problem, you can't narrow it down, and you don't know whether it's software or hardware related or if it's Windows related. If you go into safe mode, you're in the bare necessities. So if you're running some software that's causing the issue, this will eliminate that software. And so if everything runs the way it's supposed to for what you're trying to do, for instance, getting online or some error messages coming up and they go away when you're in safe mode, then you know it's some kind of software that you have installed or some kind of a driver that you have installed that's causing the issue. So to enable safe mode, you can launch it in several ways with Windows 10 and 11. The simplest way is from settings. So let's focus on that. To access safe mode in Windows 10, and it gives you the directions. I can't show you that because I don't have Windows 10. But there it is. So if you're using Windows 10, you want to take a look at this article, copy this information and take a look at it and put it somewhere where you know how to do it. If you don't need it today, sometime during the course of your computer, you're probably going to want to go into safe mode. And by saving this somewheres, and that's why I use Evernote, you might use Keep, you might use Notes. I think it is from Microsoft, or you may have another place where you just store articles. You want to save that. But let's take a look at it in the Windows in Windows 11. You press the Windows logo key and I, so I'm going to do that. And it brings me into my settings. Now I'm going to take a look and then select the start button and select, or if that doesn't work, you can select the start button in settings. Okay. And we want to go to systems and recovery. System, and we want to come down here to recovery. All right. And then we're going to, under recovery options, next to advanced startup. I don't want to click startup now. Next to advanced. Okay. Restart to, okay, I may have to. I don't want to do that. Let's see what else it says. Under next to select restart now. Oh, okay. When it restarts, I'm not going to be able to do it, so I'm going to close that. If I do that, I disappear. Under the recovery options, restart now. After your PC restarts, choose an option screen. You want to select troubleshoot, and then you want to select advanced options, and then startup settings, and then restart. You may be asked to enter your BitLocker recovery key if you have one. After your PC restarts, you'll see a list of options. Select 4 or press F4 to start your computer and your PC in safe mode. Or if you need to use the internet, select 5 or F5 for safe mode with networking. But what if your system's already crashed? Perform a hard reset by pressing and holding the power button on your PC for 10 seconds. Turn the device back on after it shuts down by hitting the power button once. As it boots up, press and hold the power button for another 10 seconds. Again, turn the computer back on by pressing the power button. Repeat this process one more time, prompting automatic repair to launch. Select WinRE, short for Windows Recovery Environment. From here, you'll be brought back to the same troubleshooting options as before. Click into Troubleshoot to begin. Choose Advanced Options by following the startup settings, and then choose F5 to enable safe mode with networking. Boy, they made it difficult from just hitting an F key when you're booting up, haven't they? And then if you want to disable the safe mode, to turn it off, hit the Windows R to call up the run window. Type in msconfig and click OK. And then under the boot tab, ensure that the box next to safe mode is not checked. So let's look at that. So I'm going to do the WinR. And it says go to msconfig, and because that's what the last thing was I opened on it, it's still there. And when I open it, under boot, you want to make sure that safe boot is not clicked. And then you can boot. So that's another way to get to it, is come to this screen and click on Safe Boot, and then say OK, and then reboot. And I think it also will allow you to come up into safe mode. Some other things to keep in mind when using safe mode. One of the most common concerns will be the possibility of locking yourself out of the device. Adding a PIN, fingerprint, or security key are all viable workarounds, giving you a vital backdoor when disaster strikes. You can also disable the only allow Windows Hello sign-in for Microsoft accounts option in your account settings found in sign-in options. We love safe mode because it makes diagnostics easy, even if you're not necessarily a hardcore PC enthusiast. Anybody can use safe mode, and it might end up saving you a lot of time and trouble. So we'll come here, come back here, and we're going to stop share. Comments or questions? Mike, have you used safe mode lately?
I'm trying to recall a couple of times, like when I wanted to put Linux on a computer, I wanted to get in and turn a whole bunch of Windows things off, and I had to use the advanced settings. And I booted into safe mode and turned a whole bunch of stuff off, and I still had to use that advanced to allow me to boot from a USB key. So they've locked it down so much, at least in Windows 10, I assume it's the same in 11. If you want to boot from a USB key because you've got either Linux or some other diagnostic tool you want to use, you have to go through that same procedure.
Yeah, it certainly, they've made it more difficult to boot up in safe mode or go or boot from another device plugged in. Okay, I don't have it on my list, but I do want to talk about something else. So let me share my screen again. Somebody asked me recently if I had a list of all the website of the weeks that I've done for. Let me go ahead and I'll make this larger. Oh, this is the new Notepad, by the way. If you don't use Notepad, I've been using it for years. They have made some changes in it. So let's go into View. No, we want to go to Edit and Font, and we'll make it size 24. And okay. Whoops. And I didn't need to close it. And for some reason or other, it didn't take. So we'll do it in font. 24. Now it's great. It should be okay. And I hit this button. There we go. Because 24 is not very big. So we'll try something even bigger. There we go. I have several videos that I call Website of the Week that I've done for Tech for Seniors. If you haven't looked at any of these websites, be prepared to waste a lot of time or to find some really interesting websites. And I do want to tell you that I do have a playlist, and let's go ahead and show you. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to open up my browser. My browser is open. I'm going to open up a new window, and I'm going to paste right in here. I can do it I'll do it this way. Paste and then hit Enter. And it gives me the playlist, or it will give you the playlist of all. Right now, there's 10 of them. As I add new ones to it, it will show up in this playlist. And a playlist, and I have different playlists on my YouTube channel, and you can create your own as well of things that you want to keep and just go back and look at, or to keep a list of, or to share with other people. So these are the 10 that I have. The one is punny signs, which are some signs from from a couple of websites that are if you like puns, they're fun to look at. There's one on terms of service didn't read. We all go to websites, and as soon as we log on to them, it wants us to read their terms of service and agree to it. Or if we download software, it wants us to read the terms of services. We checkbox it and go on, and we never read them. Well, if you go to this website, it will give a concise listing of some of the things in the terms of service for those websites, for many websites. Not all of them are there, but a good many that you may, either websites or software that you didn't read. And that's a good website to take a look at. Still Tasty is all about food. This person does not exist, is how to create. If you do any creation of PowerPoints, of videos, or you just want to use a picture somewheres for whatever reason, it's not your picture, but it's not somebody else's either, so you don't get in any trouble, go to this website. It will, it creates pictures of people, adults, male, female, and children, and that don't exist. It's totally AI or automatic, or not automatic, but artificial intelligence. It is really cool to look at. And if you look at my video, I show you many examples because you have to look at them one at a time. You don't choose them. Another one is Radio Garden, where you can listen to radio stations from all over the world at any time live and listen to music. It's just a nice way to look around at other countries and what they're playing and or what they're talking about. Scam Advisor is another website that I use a lot called, it's called Scam Advisor, that when I go on Facebook and there's an advertisement for something and I look at the website, I never heard of it, I click it, put it in Scam Advisor, and it'll give me some indication of how long it's been around and maybe to be very, very careful. I don't, if it says it's trustworthy, again, I would still do my due diligence, but it's a good indication. If it's bad, it's going to tell you. The Wayback Machine is a way of looking at your website or other websites from that have changed over time, and you want to go back. You need to find something that's no longer on a website. A lot of times you can find it in the Wayback Machine, which is also part of Internet Archives. And to find things on the Internet Archives, watch that video as well. And then mail delivery notices. Those of you in the U.S., the U.S. Postal Service has something called a mail delivery and informed delivery. And I would advise you, if you haven't looked at it, to look at it. They do have to verify your mailing address. They'll send you a card with some kind of a code that you then put in to verify that it's you and that's your address. But I check my mail each day. My mailbox is a central mailbox here in a village. And so before I go down there, I can see many of what's already in the mailbox and if a package has arrived as well. And then the first one I did was an intro to graphic formats. And you might want to take a look at that video. That one's a little bit longer. That one's the longest of all of them. That's about 10 minutes. So these are all short clips. If you're a member of another user group other than CFCS, feel free to use them. Let me know if you do, just so I know, but you don't need to in advance. Or if you think of it afterwards, just let me know that, oh yeah, we use this one or that one for our meeting. Thank you. And that's all I need to know. But so you don't need special permission in advance. You have it with me saying it right now. So let's stop to share. And I know some of you made some comments about that. Jolyn, she loves the Wayback Machine. If you haven't tried some of those, some of them are good time wasters. But there are some really good sites, and they're short clips. So when you have a chance, go to my channel or click on the link that's that I just shared with you. And let's see, I'll put it in the notes. Let me change this to everyone. And there is a link to the playlist, so you can see all 10 of them. And when I do number 11, it'll be added to that same playlist. But so let's go back to screen share, and let's stay in YouTube. But when you go to my channel, you can see I've got many videos, and you can go along the timeline here. I'm going to look at my managed videos so you can see them in a list view. Come on. I think it may tell us somewhere how many I have, but not sure if it's in this one or not. But you can see that I have got, that's one page. Well, there's 107 videos that I have posted. So by all means, go to them. I don't always promote a lot of them. This was a Chromebook simulator. If you're thinking of using a Chromebook or have used a Chromebook, there is, you don't have to own a simulator to run it. I'm sorry, you don't have to own a Chromebook to run the simulator. And there's a link in the article. This is part 1. I'm going to be doing part 2 for next month's Learning Chromebooks. And these are some other videos that I've done. Google Lens, if you're not familiar with Google Lens, by all means, take a look at that video. But I also, going back to my channel, and this is true of any channel, just click on playlists and you can see I've got one liked videos, website of the week, size and text and font, podcast. So I've got Starlink reports and there are several of them. So you can see how many are in each of the playlists. And then I believe I also have one for the Windows SIG for 2020. There's another one for 20. I thought there was one for 2021, but if you look at view the full playlist for 2020, you will see there's all of the Windows SIG for 2020. So playlists, and you can create playlists on your own at any time on any site that you go to. Let's look at Tech for Senior. You can look at the playlists that they have, and there's a lot of them there. Again, you can look at any one of those, but you can create your own playlists as well, and then just have the ones that you want to see all the time. You have to add them to your own. So when there's a new one, you will have to add it. Any YouTube questions or comments? You're quiet today. Wake up.
Hey,
I just put one in there. Chat.
Okay, we just viewed Chromebook Part 1 yesterday. Looking forward to Part 2. Great, thank you. I also found it by going to your channel and looking at your playlists. Absolutely, and any channel, go to the playlist to see if they've created them. They're a great time saver. It's a good way to find what you want, and then when you find it, you can create one for your user group and just things that you want your members to take a look at.
That's what I've done. I have
Yeah.
got, they're all unlisted. They're all available to our members through our website. I don't publish the presentations that we've done. And then I just did a presentation on YouTube Studio, just to get people to upload a video, memories for your kids, grandkids, and great grandkids, if that's all you want to do. So I had fun doing that and putting those playlists together for the membership. These aren't for, anybody can, they're accessible to anybody who goes to the website, but they're not, I'm not using YouTube to publish them openly, just for our members. So,
Okay.
but it's fun. It's been a lot of fun to learn and figure out how to do it and then teach others how to do it.
Yeah, I just bought a new phone and I bought a smartwatch, which I wasn't going to do, and I'll talk about why I did it in a few minutes. But I bought a new phone because my other one I was having a lot of issues with, and it was 5 years old. So I went ahead and I did a lot of research and I bought a new phone. I bought a Galaxy S22 Ultra. It's got more bells and whistles than anything I have ever seen in my life. And I started to try to figure out how do you figure out all these things? How do they tell you all of the things it can do? They don't. But if you go to YouTube and you type in the model of the phone that you have, I guarantee that there are many people who have done videos on how to go to settings and what things you can find in there that you wouldn't know that it could do, and watch the videos. And what I did is I watched the video with my phone in front of me, and I had my actually I watched it on my TV, so it was a big screen. And I had my clicker in front of me, so I could pause it. But if you're doing it in front of your computer, make sure that you can hit pause at any time and go back a little bit, and have your phone there and open it up and go to the places, make the changes they tell you about. It is fantastic. Now, some of you may have, who know me and have seen me over the years, that I always wore a little band on my wrist and held my phone in it. And that was my watch. As the phones got bigger and bigger, it got more difficult to justify me wearing it on my wrist. And when I got this new one, it's huge and it's heavy. So I said, I'm not going to do that. And I'm not sure if it would hold it as well. So I didn't have anything on my wrist. So every time I went out, I felt like I was walking outside nude. I didn't have anything on my wrist. It reminded me that I better have my phone in my pocket. It's, oh no, it's back in the house. So I go back in the house and get it. But I was in the store where I bought my phone, which was a T-Mobile store. And I looked at the Samsung, because I have a Samsung phone. I looked at Samsung watches and I looked at the price. I said, no, that can't, there's something wrong. It was free. All I had to do was pay for the link and pay for 24 months to have it on my account. And I said to the guy, or I asked the guy, I said, well, how much does that add to my phone bill? He said, with your plan, $10 a month. And the phone is free? And he said, yeah, if you buy the 40 millimeter one, if you buy the 44 millimeter one, it's $1.22 a month for 24 months, or about $35, $40. I said, it's a no-brainer, but I'm not going to do it. So I waited a few days and let it sink in. You know how those things are. Within a week, I talked myself into it, and I went back. And for $1.22 a month, I bought the 44 millimeter one. They do have a classic one that was full price, and that was like $20 a month, and I didn't want to pay that, plus paying the monthly fee. But I now have a Samsung Galaxy 4 watch, and I love it. And again, I had to watch videos on how to set it up and how to figure it all out, because trust me, you will never figure it out on your own. You got to have somebody show you how to use it and how to do settings and what it can do. And there's software on your phone that you have to run to do some of the things and have it set up. And in order to do that, you really need to watch somebody else do it. And by having YouTube, it is such a valuable tool. It's just unbelievable. Whatever you want to learn about, whether it be to change a faucet on your sink, to fixing a part in your car, or to work on your computer, or to learn something about software or how to use your phone. And no matter what phone you have, if you take the model of the phone and look it up on YouTube, you're going to find some videos that are going to teach you some things on how you're not using your phone as much as you really could do. And I guarantee that you will love learning how to use that phone and knowing some of the things that you can do with it. Bill H., you have your hand up.
Yes, also go back the next day and you'll probably find a few more, or they've changed something and they put the changes in.
Yeah, yeah. Once you look at something, all of a sudden, Google then knows, and YouTube then knows you've looked at it, and they'll find other ones that are similar to it, and will put them up for you to take a look at as well. I found some on my phone that way, and found some good ones. Now, some of these young guys and girls that put these together talk fast. They try to get a lot in a very short period of time, and they're difficult for us older folks to follow. My suggestion there is, well, number one, you can play back at slower speeds, or make sure you've got either your remote, if you're watching it on TV, or your mouse handy, where you can pause it, you can go back a little bit and play it over again. Bill?
One thing I wish they would do, though, is not put music over their voices. For me, that just drowns out their voices, and I have to go on to another one. So they're just wasting their time on that.
Yeah. And the other thing you can do, and let me go back to YouTube. Maybe you're not aware of this, but let me let's see, go to share my screen here. And in YouTube, if you look at it, I'll look at one of mine here. So let's go back to my channels, and let's take this video.
Tech for Seniors present.
I'm going to go ahead and stop it. But what I'm going to show you is if I move over here. Now there is 3 dots here. show transcript. You click that. It should. I might have to change the size of it. No, that should be okay. It may take a while for it to do it. I don't know, but it should show us. There it is. There is your whole transcript of what is being said in my video. And you can, there's no button or anything to tell you, but you can just highlight it. I thought you can do it. Yeah, you can do the whole thing. Just do a Control-C to copy it and then paste it into something else. So you can get the entire transcript of the video. It's not always totally accurate, but it's going to be close. And you can go back and capture things on almost any video that's up there. So you may not be aware that you could do that. And I think that's, and of course you can turn on the closed captioning so you can see what they're saying as they're saying it as well. But having the ability to look at the transcript and then either copy and paste it and save it is, I think, a valuable tool in any video. Bill?
Also, if you click on that transcript and it has the times, it'll take you right to that spot, and you can then listen to just that part. That's also searchable with Control F.
Control S?
For find.
Okay. Control F for Frank. Okay. Find. Okay. All right. So hopefully that helps you as well. If you're not using YouTube a lot, you're really missing out. I know there's several of you out there that I've talked to at different times that use YouTube, and you can find an awful lot of things and a lot of interesting information and capture it and do some things. Marshall.
I just wanted to verify what you just said. I bought a Alcatel Go Flip 4, and I've been having trouble understanding it. And that's the last thing I thought of was going to YouTube. Now, I just went to YouTube while you were talking, and I stopped at 75 offerings of teaching me how to use this phone. So,
and you just bought a simple flip phone, right?
yep.
Not even a smartphone, but a flip phone.
It's a semi-smartphone.
Yes.
Like me, half-brained.
So if you're not using YouTube to learn how to use the various devices, there are times where I'm looking at something I'm interested in buying. Even an air conditioner that I bought for my lanai, or some other gadget, I'll do a search on YouTube, and there may be a review. It may be just how to use it, and it might be, don't buy this. So before you spend your money, take a look at YouTube and see what's there. And if you've spent your money, go back and learn how to use what you purchased, whatever it be. Carl.
Yeah, you've been doing this for years, offering help on Windows to other people. And here you buy new technology and you're forced into YouTube. My question is, are there any user groups that center, instead of on Windows, on mobile platforms? Have you looked at that at all?
Well, most of the user groups now have morphed into a technology user group as opposed to a computer user group. So a lot of them are doing a combination. They might have a special interest group. They might just have a group of people, and they might even just cover it in their regular meetings. I know the Milwaukee group that I sometimes go online. They have an Android group and an iPhone group that meet at the same time. So if you're on one, you could join one, and if you're on the other kind of phone, you go on the other. And then they have a PC night, and then they have general questions, and then they have a presentation meeting. So different groups have adapted in different ways. Some of you want to talk about your groups, because I know there's a lot of people from different groups on here. Jolyn?
I was just going to say, yeah, for Hilton Head Island Computer Club, we used to meet monthly before we had a resource center. We've had a resource center for people to come into to get help since 1993. Have moved around in different places, but our approach is we cover everything from Windows, Apple, Mac OS, iOS, Android, Chromebook. We also talk about streaming services, streaming devices. We help people with home networking. And we have this about 50, I think there's like 55 now of our volunteers who are there weekly and either come to our center to help people who walk in or call in or email in for help.
Yeah,
Or
you have a very large group though.
we just hit 945 again.
Well,
And now Hilton Head is a destination. So we have a lot of people who are year-round members, but we have a lot of people who are visitors and come down and stay. They're snowbirds. They come down and stay for the winter and go back up north, or come down for the summer, and because it's a little cooler here. So we have a lot of people who travel. They can get help no matter where they are, because we can do remote support. We do Zoom presentations. So we are not just locked into our one location, and having the center like we do. We have two Macs, a Chromebook, 3 Windows 10, 1 new Windows 11 machine, and we budget for this every year. And it's total nonprofit, and it's just awesome. And we are so lucky. And anybody can become a member, just like with being able to come and see you guys and the Florida stuff, or through APCUG. We have members from all over the country and Canada, and a few from overseas when they make it back over here these days. So we're very lucky, very lucky.
thank you, John. There's a couple of hands up, but some of you are in smaller groups. How does your group handle it? Put your hand up, or turn your camera on and wave your hand when you have a chance. But Mike, you had a comment first.
As John was speaking, it was reminding me of what Central Florida Computer Society used to be back in the 90s. We had our resource center, and we had, on paper, we had over 1,000 users, members, but that was because we won Bill Gates, but that's another story. I stumbled on the Brookdale Computer Users Group up in New Jersey when we were doing Linux meetings, and found that they were doing their meetings on the same day of the month, each month that we were, and they were doing exactly the same thing that we were doing. And they've got a lot of technical resources on Linux. And so as much fun as it was running our own Linux special interest group, we went ahead and disestablished it and have joined up with them on the second Wednesday night of each month. In fact, this coming Wednesday will be their user group, and they're on Meetup. And Meetup is a national service for groups of any kind to register and then attempt to get members. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, the Central Florida Computer Society may still have a listing there.
We do. In fact, I sent an email out to the 1,700 people on our Meetup list. I don't know if there's anybody on here that heard from us, heard us because of Meetup. I think Cheryl Job was one that did, and there may be, if there's anyone else, please let me know, just so we know that we're not spending our money needlessly.
At any rate, the question was, are there groups that do this sort of thing? And the Brookdale is still what I would call an old-fashioned user group with many different special interest groups, as we were back then. It's not necessarily free to join, but free to join in on their stream meetings. So for the moment, anyway, it's if you join Meetup and ask to join the group, Meetup will accept you, and you'll start getting links to what they put out. They do a PDF based newsletter, which is 14, 15, 16 pages every month. And it's across the whole genre of technology, and it's a very good newsletter as well.
Yeah, the Sarasota Technology User Group, which used to be the Sarasota PC User Group, or something similar to that, they have a lot of classes, and I know the one fellow, Bill Crow, does a lot of iPhone and iPad classes, and a lot of those have been recorded and are on the Stug YouTube channel, and any group is free to use that information as well. I know, Bill, you've got your hand up. I know there's a couple of other people from other groups on here, some small, some big. If you would chime in on what your group is doing as far as handling some of the other technologies other than computers. Bill, go ahead.
Yeah, this question for Joel, and I was curious if they keep a running log of which computers get used the most and if Chromebook is picking up speed or not.
We have got two strong, I have a Chromebook, but, so I can help people with, but we have two volunteers, longtime members, both previous presidents who teach Chromebook, and you can get an appointment and come in and do that. We have a Chromebook on site. What we do is we use a membership online setup called Wild Apricot. And we used to have a sign-in sheet, and then somebody took that and entered it into a spreadsheet every month. Now what we do is the volunteers are responsible for writing down the tickets. So we, as people come in, we write down, we get people flowing in. We write down if it's a call, if it's a walk-in, if it's email. We note which device or devices they're asking questions about, which computer they came in to use. So that's all being kept now by the volunteers, just taking a moment to log people in. And we also have our membership roster so that we can just put the information directly in that way. And it has made it a lot easier. And then our secretary takes that information and feeds us back the results each month, quarter, year kind of thing. We've been doing that for a couple of years now, and that's been very, very helpful and has saved a lot of time of entering handwritten, very unreadable at times, information. So it's the Wild Apricot is a decent service that we use in connection with our website.
Okay, any other comments or questions? No, I guess not. Okay. That was a good discussion. Thank you. I'll go back to sharing my screen. Got a little bit of time left. And back here to the WinSIG. Let's see what else I've got here. Nothing that.
I'd love to learn a bit more about Clipchamp.
Okay, let's take a look at that. How to use Clipchamp video editor on Windows 11 and 10. So it works on both. Let's go ahead and do the. Microsoft has a video creation tool called Clipchamp, available for Windows users. Here's what you'll need to know about to begin using it. It's new and you can use it for video creation in Windows 11 and Windows 10. Microsoft acquired Clipchamp a year ago, and it's a better editing tool than the older tools like Windows Movie Maker. And some people will debate that. You can use Clipchamp on Windows to create exciting new videos for work, social media, or to capture important events. And in this article, I'll show you how to get started using Clipchamp on a Windows 10 or 11 PC. How to install it. Clipchamp app doesn't come pre-installed on Windows yet, although it's a plan for that in the future. In the meantime, you'll need to download and install Clipchamp first. To install it, download it from the Microsoft Store. And in order to do that, what you do is you come here and you find the computer store. I don't know that. Yeah, it's right here. I have it installed, I believe, so it's going to say just start it, but let's see, there should be a search. I don't use this often enough to know where it is automatically. Let's see, there we go. It's at the top and I couldn't see it. I hit enter. I didn't have to because it did list them, but there it is. It's right here. And I guess I don't have it. So what you would do is get it. Let's go ahead and do it. Downloading. It's going to take a while. Microsoft slows it, even though oh, wait a minute, there it comes. It's coming quick. All right, good. A lot of times they throttle it so they can have it, and it's installing it automatically. Doesn't ask me, and it's now there, and I can click and open it. And there you go. That's how easy it is to install and start it. So let's go back to the article. And again, you can go to YouTube and watch a lot of videos on how to use it. I'm sure Microsoft has some things on their channel as well. But let's go ahead and we'll close this. So you saw how easy it is to install it. If you in the Windows Champ window, you'll need to sign in using your Microsoft or Google account. So you can use either one of them, or by using your own personal email account. Next, you'll need to choose what type of video you want to create. Whether you want it to be educational, content, business, corporate, personal. From File Explorer window, drag and drop the content you want to use in your video into the Clipchamp window. Select a pre-made template from the options provided to get started. From the editor, you can lengthen or shorten the template and the video clip you've inserted. Once you have the classics laid in, you can edit the video by cutting certain parts or adding or removing effects. It might seem light and basic, but the software has some powerful video editing tools. In addition to editing videos and sound effects, Clipchamp has features for screen and camera recording your webcam, and using text to speech. So there's lots of different ways you can do your recording. When you finish your video, you click export and choose the MP4 video to the quality you want, and choose from 480p, 720p, or 1020p. And from the options provided, you select a cloud service you want to upload it to, or you can just download it to your computer, or save it to your computer. Clipchamp is a great tool for editing videos on Windows 11 and Windows 10 PCs. It's free for personal use, but if you want additional features such as cloud storage and unlimited access to stock content, you'll need to upgrade to a paid plan. If Clipchamp isn't your cup of tea, give the third-party Wondershare Filmora 11 a go instead. If you're working with other types of media in Windows 11, take a look at using your photos as a screensaver or learning how to take a screenshot on Windows 11. I use a program called all right, it's clicking in again on me. Camtasia, I've been using it for years. It is not a cheap program. It's $250, $350. But I've spent a lot of time learning how to use it. And so I'm not going to try to learn how to use Clipchamp. I might go in and play a little bit with it just to see if there's some quick and easy things that I might be able to do on it. But I've learned Camtasia well enough that I can go in pretty quick and go in and do some editing and save and come out of it without a lot of effort. But it has a really long and hard learning curve. But it's a great program. But any video editing program is going to be complicated just for the fact that video editing is complicated. So Clipchamp is something that is free free to use, free to download from Microsoft. And I'm sure they're going to improve it as such. And then there's some additions that you can get for it that you have to pay. Bill, you have a question?
Yes, I noticed it had 480p that you could export it as a draft. After you finished editing it and viewing it, can you go back then and change it to 1080 or whatever 4K?
I'm sure you can. I know in Camtasia you can. You save the project, and then you can go back and then save the or export the video to. You can try different ones and take a look at them, see what differences there are, and so on, without having to do any additional editing.
I just checked
I
it
see
out.
Joel and your head,
I was
yes.
gonna say, I just checked it out as Huey was going through it, installed it, and it said 1080p is available for free.
Yeah, they just added. It didn't apparently when it was first released. You couldn't save in 1080p in the free version, and they've added that to the free version. All right, it's 2:44. That means we're just about out of time. Any closing questions or comments before we turn it over to Stan and the production?
You might like to do a little promo for Tech for Senior Monday.
Yeah, not a bad idea. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. We have a surprise guest, or not surprise so much, but we have a special guest on Monday. Mike, who is that?
I might be making an appearance.
All right, Mike is going to be talking about what, Mike? Proton
Mail, a more secure in the cloud mail system.
Right, and I understand your explanation, and that is going to be featured on Monday's Tech for Senior, and it's very well done, as Mike always does, whatever he puts something together. And I think you'll get a lot out of it. If you're not familiar with our Tech for Senior, a lot of you are, but if you're not, it's on Mondays. Every Monday we've done it. This will be our 110th edition. And that means 110 weeks in a row we've done it. And we're continuing to do it. It is geared towards seniors. Most of the same people that are on here. It's geared to you. And we cover everything, including phones, gadgets, robotic vacuum cleaners and smartwatches, and the health aspect of smartwatches, and so much more. And it's every Monday. We're on Zoom, and go to Tech for Senior, no S, techforsenior.com. You may need the www in front of it. Sometimes it will connect and sometimes not, but go there. There's more information, and the link for the Zoom meeting is there as well. And I invite all of you to that. And then on Thursdays, most of us who run the meeting on Mondays get together, and we just talk about tech in the news and just chat on YouTube and Facebook only, not a Zoom meeting, but you can chat with us and ask questions and so on alongside of it by just going to YouTube or to Facebook, and you don't have to sign in at all. And that's on Thursdays, and that's at noon Eastern time. And Tech for Seniors is at noon Eastern time on Mondays. Okay, this has been the Central Florida Computer Society Windows Special Interest Group for May 8th, 2022. I'm Huey Poplock. Thanks for joining.